What really happens when you go to sleep? Your body might be still, but your consciousness? It doesn't just rest. It moves, it explores. It becomes active in ways science is only starting to understand. But where does it go? Only a few truly know. For thousands of years, spiritual traditions and modern researchers have tried to answer that question. And what they've found might completely shift the way you think about sleep and who you really are. If you've ever had a dream that felt more real than waking life, like you were living a second reality, tell us in the comments. Those experiences may hold clues to the deeper truth of your consciousness. Sleep has always been one of humanity's greatest mysteries. Ancient cultures believed that when we fall asleep, our soul leaves the body and travels to other realms, places beyond time, space, or logic. In ancient Egypt, dreams were sacred, believed to be messages from the gods themselves. In ancient Greece, philosophers like Plato described sleep as a time when the soul could access higher realms of truth and reality. Today, science has confirmed how important sleep is for the brain, memory, and physical health. But beyond all that, there's something deeper, something stranger, something happening quietly, especially in the deeper stages of sleep. And that's where things get truly fascinating. When you sleep, your brain activity doesn't just fade away, it transforms. It starts to resemble what we see in deep meditation and even in near-death experiences. In this state, your sense of time stretches. Reality feels different. Some people say they see places they've never been. Others report full conversations with people who don't exist in this world. But here's the big question. If consciousness is just a byproduct of the brain, why do so many people have vivid, meaningful, even spiritual experiences while sleeping? Are they just imagination, or is something real happening? The answer may lie in something called the consciousness journey, a quiet, powerful process that happens to everyone, every night, but that most of us never notice. As you drift into deep sleep, your body becomes still. Your brain waves slow. Your awareness of the outside world fades away. But your consciousness doesn't switch off. It simply shifts. In fact, your mind enters states so complex and mysterious, even science is still struggling to explain them. Sleep isn't just rest, it's movement. Your inner self is diving into unknown layers of thought, emotions, and maybe something beyond. And during REM sleep, the most active phase, things get even stranger.
It's during REM sleep, the rapid eye movement stage, that things begin to shift. This is when your dreams become the most vivid, when scenes feel so real you question whether you're even asleep. But some researchers believe there's more happening here than just dreaming. Institutions like the Monroe Institute and scientists such as Dr. Charles Tart have explored a fascinating idea that during this stage, your consciousness can actually separate from the physical body and enter entirely new dimensions of existence. This phenomenon is known as astral projection, or an out-of-body experience, sometimes called OBE. But if this happens every night, why don't most people realize it? The answer may lie in how we've been trained to see the world. From an early age, we're taught to believe only in things we can touch, measure, or see. Anything else? It's called imagination. But for those who've gone through an OBE, the experience is anything but imaginary. They describe a feeling of deep freedom, a sense of limitless awareness, and sometimes the ability to visit real locations they've never seen in waking life. There are even documented cases of people describing faraway places, events, or details they couldn't possibly have known, all while their physical body remained asleep in bed. One of the most famous examples is Robert Monroe, a pioneer in consciousness research. He spent decades exploring these altered states and wrote detailed accounts of his journeys into what he called the non-physical realms. But here's something most people overlook. Your emotional and mental state before falling asleep plays a huge role in what kind of experiences your consciousness might attract during the night. If you go to bed feeling anxious, fearful, or heavy, you may enter denser, more confusing layers of the dream world. But if you fall asleep with clarity, intention, or a higher state of awareness, you might open yourself to spiritual insights, healing, and even transformational teachings from beyond the physical.
So the next time you're about to fall asleep, try something different. Before closing your eyes, take a quiet moment to set an intention. Say to yourself, "Tonight, I want to remember where my consciousness goes." This small act of awareness can unlock a deeper understanding of your inner world. You may have heard of something called sleep programming. And while it sounds mysterious, it's actually very simple. Few people realize this, but the final minutes before sleep are a powerful gateway to the subconscious mind. In those moments, your brain enters the hypnagogic state, a twilight zone between waking and dreaming. And in this state, your mind becomes highly receptive to suggestion. Some of history's greatest minds, like Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison, understood this. They would lie down with a question in mind, and often, by morning, they had the answer. It wasn't magic. It was the power of a focused mind at the edge of sleep. You can do this too. It's simple. Before you drift off, speak to your mind, clearly and calmly. Ask a question, set a goal, make a request, then listen. You might be surprised at what returns to you by morning. You could try something like this. I want to wake up refreshed and energized. May new ideas come to me for my career. Help me discover ways to attract more abundance. Bring clarity to this problem as I sleep. Let me remember my dreams when I wake up. These simple phrases, when spoken with intention, tap directly into your subconscious mind, the part of you that keeps working even while your body rests. Often, the result is unexpected. You might wake up with a new perspective. You might receive a dream that feels symbolic or even prophetic. Some people experience a sudden surge of creativity or a calm inner clarity about something that once felt confusing. Now here's where it gets even more powerful. This same technique, speaking to your subconscious before sleep, can also guide you toward spiritual experiences while dreaming. Practitioners of astral projection often use clear intentions like, "Tonight, I will remain aware in the astral realm. I want to observe everything my consciousness experiences outside my body." With consistent practice, many report lucid dreams, deep insights, and even moments of awakening, all while their body remains still in bed. It's as if the mind slips through invisible doors into dimensions science has yet to understand. So the question remains, where does your consciousness really go while the rest of you sleeps?
Where your consciousness travels at night isn't random. It depends on your inner perception, your emotions, and even the intentions you set before sleep. Some people wake up from vivid dreams that feel more real than reality. Others experience lucid dreams, where they're fully aware they're dreaming and can shape their own experiences. Then there are those who describe something even more profound: the feeling of leaving their body, floating above it, and observing the world from a completely new angle. What's fascinating is that these reports aren't limited to modern sleepers. Mystics, Buddhist monks, and people who've had near-death experiences, NDEs, have described nearly identical phenomena. They speak of crossing into realms that defy logic, of seeing cities made of light, meeting spirit guides, and entering dimensions where time bends and space dissolves into something unrecognizable. But how can we tell the difference between a real journey of consciousness and just a dream? Well, some clues might surprise you. There are verified accounts of people who, after an out-of-body experience, described distant places or events with exact detail, locations they'd never visited in waking life. That suggests something real is happening, something beyond imagination. Even science is beginning to hint in this direction. Quantum physics proposes that consciousness may not be confined to the brain at all. And neurosurgeon Dr. Eben Alexander, after experiencing a powerful NDE, claimed that what he saw on the other side felt more real than anything he had ever experienced while awake. So what are we tapping into at night? Are these parallel realities? Higher dimensions? Or simply unexplored corners of our own mind? Dreams might hold the key, because not all dreams are just mental noise. Many are actual records of your travels through unseen realms. Before we continue, I have a question for you. Have you ever had a dream that made you question reality? If you're curious about parallel realities, leave a comment saying, "I want to know more about parallel realities." If enough people ask, we'll create an exclusive deep dive into these hidden worlds and how your consciousness might already be exploring them every night. And before we go further, if you're enjoying this journey into the hidden dimensions of the mind, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, you'll never miss a moment of these mind-expanding explorations.
Let's go deeper. Throughout history, dreams have been seen as more than just random thoughts during sleep. From ancient temples to modern psychology, they've been studied as messages from somewhere deeper, maybe even from the soul itself. Famous thinkers like Sigmund Freud believed that dreams were windows into our unconscious mind, revealing desires and emotions we often hide from ourselves. But Carl Jung went a step further. He suggested that dreams come from the collective unconscious, a shared space of symbols and stories that connect all human beings. In his view, dreams weren't just personal, they were spiritual maps guiding us through life. And that's not all. Many people report dreams so powerful they feel like true out-of-body experiences. They speak of seeing spiritual entities, traveling through unfamiliar lands, or even glimpsing future events, visions that later came true. These are often lucid dreams, where the dreamer becomes fully aware that they're dreaming and can sometimes shape the experience. Across spiritual traditions, dreams are more than just visions. They are journeys. In shamanic cultures, dreams are sacred. Shamans believe the soul can travel during sleep, receiving wisdom from guides, or uncovering hidden knowledge that can heal and transform. In Buddhist teachings, dreaming is seen as a kind of training for death, a rehearsal for the soul to navigate spiritual realms after leaving the body. And then there's something truly mysterious. Some people have reported having the same dream as a close friend or family member on the same night. How is that even possible? It may be because your consciousness, while you sleep,
isn't trapped inside your skull. Instead, it might be connecting to a greater field of awareness, a vast space where minds and energies meet. Quantum physics has shown us something extraordinary, that everything in the universe may be connected through a kind of invisible web, often called the unified field. At this deep level of reality, the boundaries between individual minds begin to dissolve. If our thoughts and feelings carry unique vibrations or frequencies, then it's possible that two people, while sleeping, could tune into the same signal and experience the same dream. Think of it like two radios picking up one broadcast. This also ties into the idea of the collective unconscious, introduced by Carl Jung. He believed that all humans share a vast mental space, filled with ancient symbols, shared memories, and timeless archetypes. This could explain why people across the globe, from entirely different cultures, often describe eerily similar dreams, even if they've never met. During deep sleep, it's believed our minds can access this universal library, a kind of cosmic archive that links all of us. And then there's something even stranger. Some people report shared dreams, where they and someone close to them were aware of each other inside the same dream. When they wake up, they both remember being in the same place and describe it the same way. Could this mean that during sleep, we enter subtle realms where consciousness is no longer bound to the body? Not all dreams are random. Not all are echoes of the day. Some seem to carry meaning, messages from the universe, even warnings. There are countless stories of people dreaming about something before it happens and later watching it unfold in waking life. Why? Because in dreams, we're not trapped by the rules of everyday reality. We're not stuck in time. We're not limited by logic. In waking life, time moves in a straight line, past, present, future. But in the dream world, time bends, folds, disappears. And this might not be fantasy. Physicist John Wheeler once suggested that the future could influence the past, a theory supported by some quantum experiments. If time isn't fixed, maybe our dreaming minds can slip across timelines, accessing glimpses of what's yet to come. And there are famous examples. One of the most chilling is Abraham Lincoln. Just days before his assassination, he reportedly dreamed of his own death and described it in haunting detail. Coincidence? Or had his consciousness tapped into a future event?
There have been countless reports of people dreaming about major disasters before they ever happened. Some saw the Titanic sinking days before it left port. Others dreamed of planes and towers just before the 9/11 attacks. These aren't just stories. They've been documented, shared, and seriously investigated. Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, had a word for this: synchronicity. The idea that events in life can be deeply connected, even if they seem random. Connections that go beyond logic and can't be explained by coincidence. If time behaves differently in the world of dreams, if it loops, bends, or flows in layers, then maybe, just maybe, our dreams are picking up signals from the future, a kind of memory of what hasn't happened yet. But how do you know the difference between a regular dream and a dream that shows the future? Here's the key: intensity and clarity. Precognitive dreams often feel vivid, almost too real. Colors are sharper, emotions are stronger. And most importantly, there's a powerful gut feeling when you wake up that what you just saw wasn't just a dream. People who've had these experiences say they're unforgettable, like they tapped into something far bigger than themselves. And if that's true, it suggests something incredible, that while we sleep, our minds may connect to a universal intelligence, a greater consciousness where all outcomes, all timelines already exist. And in that space, anything can be seen. But not all dreams are the same. Each one plays a different role in your inner world. Symbolic dreams use images and metaphors to deliver messages from the subconscious. For example, dreaming of a broken mirror may reflect inner conflict or self-doubt. Precognitive dreams offer glimpses into possible futures. They break through time and logic, delivering warnings or insights. Lucid dreams are when you realize you're dreaming. And in that moment, you can take control, fly, shift the story, or speak with dream characters. And then there's another kind, spiritual dreams. These are more than just visions. They feel like journeys. People describe meeting guides, walking through radiant landscapes, or feeling a deep, indescribable love, unlike anything they felt while awake.
Some dreams go far beyond imagination. They feel like actual journeys, filled with messages, spiritual guides, and moments where you find yourself floating outside your body. But how do we begin to make sense of these powerful experiences? The secret lies in two simple things: attention and intention. If you truly want to understand your dreams, start by writing them down as soon as you wake up. It might seem like a small act, but this habit, known as dream journaling, can change everything. At first, the images might feel random, but over time, patterns begin to emerge. Messages become clearer, and your subconscious, or perhaps something even deeper, starts revealing the truth hidden within your dreams. Now let's talk about one of the most fascinating ideas of all, the astral plane. This concept has been explored for thousands of years in mystical traditions like Hermeticism, Theosophy, and Spiritism. According to these teachings, the astral plane is a kind of in-between world, a realm that exists between the physical and higher spiritual dimensions. And in this space, thoughts and emotions aren't just feelings. They take form. They become real. This realm is said to be incredibly fluid, constantly shifting based on your vibration and intention. Those who've had out-of-body experiences describe it as a layered place. Some layers feel radiant and peaceful, full of loving energy and encounters with beings of light, a place of healing, clarity, and wisdom. Other layers feel dense and dark, chaotic, confusing, and heavy, not as punishment, but as reflections of the energy we carry with us. So what determines where your consciousness goes? Your frequency, your emotional and mental state, especially in those final moments before sleep. If you drift off feeling anxious, angry, or afraid, you may enter heavier, more turbulent dream spaces. But if you fall asleep feeling calm, grateful, and full of intention, you may find yourself in higher realms with clearer visions and transformative experiences waiting to unfold. Many spiritual researchers divide the astral plane into 3 distinct layers, each reflecting the state of consciousness that enters it. The lower astral plane, this level is dense, filled with emotional residue like fear, guilt, or anxiety. It's often described as a heavy, shadowy realm where unprocessed trauma and suppressed thoughts take form. It mirrors the inner turbulence we carry, revealing exactly what still needs healing. The middle astral plane. This is where most people naturally travel during sleep. Here, the subconscious plays out symbolic dreams, reliving memories, emotions, and desires. This level feels more neutral,
sometimes strange, sometimes ordinary, and is shaped by your mental patterns and daily life impressions. The higher astral plane, a realm of expanded awareness and radiant energy. This is where dreamers report spiritual insights, visits from guides, and moments of pure clarity. The frequency here is lighter, more harmonious, and the lessons received can be deeply transformative. But how do we access these layers? Some people journey through them spontaneously while sleeping. Others learn to explore them intentionally, using tools like lucid dreaming, guided visualization, or mindfulness rituals before bed. Now let's explore one of the most mysterious and deeply moving aspects of sleep: spiritual encounters. Many people report dreaming of departed loved ones, seeing radiant beings of light, or even interacting with living people as if their spirits had met in a realm beyond the physical. But are these just dreams, or are we actually making contact? This is what makes the astral realm so fascinating. It doesn't obey the fixed laws of the physical world. It responds to vibration. It bends to intention. And in this flexible space, what we call dreams may be real encounters, moments when your consciousness crosses dimensions and meets others beyond the veil. If consciousness truly frees itself, even partially, from the limits of the physical body during sleep, then genuine spiritual encounters may not just be possible, they may already be happening. Many of these experiences occur spontaneously, especially for those grieving. A vivid dream of a departed loved one, accompanied by a powerful sense of presence, is often reported. These dreams carry messages, closure, or even details the dreamer had no prior knowledge of, which later turn out to be true. Skeptics may dismiss them as wishful thinking, but countless people awaken with a sense of peace and a clarity that defies logic. Another kind of encounter, learning sessions in the astral realm. Some esoteric teachings describe actual spiritual schools, temples of wisdom where the soul is invited to learn as the body rests. What's astonishing is this: there are documented cases of people recalling ideas, symbols, or teachings they had never studied, only later to find them in ancient texts or spiritual traditions they had never encountered before. How is this possible? It all begins with intention. Tonight, I want to meet my spiritual guide. Allow me to remember this experience when I wake up. Speak it clearly before sleep, and when you awaken, write everything down, no matter how fragmented, strange, or surreal it feels, because over time, those fragments become maps. But not all dreams are serene. Some are nightmares, and they too hold meaning. They're not just echoes of daily stress, they're symbolic alerts from your unconscious, or journeys through denser layers of the astral plane. So why do nightmares happen? And more importantly, can we control them? From a neurological perspective, the brain doesn't shut off during sleep. It keeps processing emotions, organizing memories, and trying to make sense of waking life. According to cognitive scientist Antti Revonsu, nightmares may serve an evolutionary purpose, a kind of threat simulation, helping us rehearse danger and build emotional resilience. But beneath that biological lens lies something deeper. Nightmares might be vibrational reflections, tuning us into denser realities that match our unresolved emotional state. In other words, your inner frequency shapes the dream realm you enter. Nightmares happen most often in REM sleep, when the subconscious is most active and emotions are most vivid. Freud believed nightmares were repressed fears and desires bubbling to the surface. Carl Jung went further, seeing them as messages from the deeper psyche, often carried by universal archetypes, warnings, lessons, mirrors. Studies show that people experiencing trauma, grief, or anxiety tend to have more vivid, frequent nightmares. But here's the empowering truth. Nightmares are not punishments. They are calls for healing, messages from within or beyond, asking to be seen, felt, and finally released. Nightmares happen for many reasons, but one major cause is how the brain tries to make sense of emotional overload. During sleep, especially after intense days, the mind dives into the subconscious to reorganize what we couldn't fully process while awake. But not all nightmares come from stress or trauma. Some seem to rise from unknown sources, as if they're tapping into energies or dimensions we don't fully understand. But here's the good news. If our emotional and energetic state before sleep shapes the dream experience, then we can take real, practical steps to shift our nights from chaotic to conscious.
Try this: energetic cleansing. Before bed, light sage or incense, or simply visualize a white light surrounding your body. This helps align your frequency with calm and safety. Mind reprogramming. Replace fear with peaceful affirmations. I sleep in peace and protection. Only positive energies are welcome in my dreams. Avoid sleep disruptors. Skip caffeine, alcohol, or heavy meals late at night. They don't just affect the body, they stir the dream world too. Dream journaling. Write down even your darkest dreams. You'll begin to spot symbols, patterns, hidden truths. What first felt like a nightmare might reveal a powerful message. Lucid dreaming practice. The moment you realize you're dreaming, you can shift the story. Nightmares become chances for healing, even transformation. Most people try to run from nightmares, but what if they're actually trying to teach us something? In many spiritual traditions, recurring nightmares aren't seen as problems. They're seen as messages from the unconscious, clues pointing to what's been ignored, suppressed, or feared. Those who practice astral projection are often trained to remain calm during nightmares, to stand their ground instead of fleeing. And what they often discover is this: the monster isn't a monster. It's a part of you, a wounded fragment asking to be seen and accepted. When you shift your perspective, fear becomes a doorway, a teacher, a guide to the parts of yourself that are finally ready to heal. Why do we forget dreams? Most people forget dreams quickly because the brain changes gears the moment we wake up. During sleep, especially REM sleep, our brain creates symbolic, emotional, and often non-linear stories. But as soon as we wake, the rational mind steps in and treats these experiences as irrelevant. But it doesn't have to be that way. Dream recall is a skill you can train. Here's how. Keep a notebook next to your bed and write immediately upon waking. Don't move right away. Stay still and try to replay the dream while it's still fresh. Limit screen time before bed. Blue light and mental clutter reduce dream recall. Go to bed with the intention of remembering. Even that small act boosts awareness. The more you practice, the clearer your dreams become.
The hidden dangers of the dream world. Dreams can be magical and enlightening, but they also come with challenges. Some people experience sleep paralysis, a state where they become aware but can't move their body. It often feels like something heavy is sitting on your chest, and some even report seeing dark shadows or figures. Science explains this as a timing glitch. The mind wakes up before the body does, causing a momentary disconnect. But energetically, many traditions believe sleep paralysis opens a gateway between worlds, and that's why it feels so intense. Knowing what's happening helps reduce fear and gives you the power to stay calm.
Sleep paralysis is one of the most intense phenomena of the dream world. You're awake, but you can't move. Some feel a heavy pressure on the chest. Others sense a presence in the room. Science explains it as a mismatch between the brain waking up and the body still being in REM sleep. But spiritual traditions suggest something more. That sleep paralysis can happen when consciousness suddenly returns from an astral journey, giving us a brief look into parallel dimensions. If this happens to you, stay calm. Focus on your breathing. Try to move your fingers. And remember, it's temporary. Some people even use this moment as a launch pad for astral projection. Encounters with unknown beings. Many dreamers report encounters with beings that feel too real to be imaginary. Who are they? Some say they're symbols of our unconscious, fears, desires, or inner wounds made visible. Others believe they are conscious entities from subtle realms, spiritual guides, lost souls, or energetic forms created by intense emotion. Whatever the case, the rule is simple. Don't feed the fear. Fear fuels lower vibrational experiences. Instead, practice protection before sleep. Visualize a field of light around you, or use calming rituals like meditation or incense. The problem of overactive dreams. Some people wake up exhausted, like they lived an entire second life in their dreams. This happens when there's too much emotional or mental activity, or when the astral body is extremely active. To recover and ground yourself, drink water. Walk barefoot on natural ground. Take a warm shower or bath to reset your body and energy.
A ritual for safe sleep and powerful dreams. Want to explore deeper without fear? Try these steps. 1. Create a pre-sleep ritual. Use prayer, meditation, or visualization to calm your energy and set intentions. 2. Avoid negative content. Horror movies, violent news, or emotional arguments before bed can leave energetic residue that lingers into your dreams. The final message: sleep is not just rest. It's a portal, a gateway into unseen worlds, emotional healing, spiritual growth, and even glimpses of the future. Every dream, every sensation, every symbol, it all means something. Through dream journaling, lucid dreaming, spiritual intention, and energetic practices, you can turn your nights into powerful journeys of self-discovery. And if there's one truth we can end with, it's that when you close your eyes, you're stepping into another kind of awareness. Have you ever had a lucid dream, out-of-body experience, or spiritual encounter during sleep? Share your story in the comments. Your experience might help someone else awaken. Want to explore more? Let me know what topic you'd like us to dive into next. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a journey into the hidden layers of the mind.